Baik, seterusnya di tengah-tengah ketidaktentuan ekonomi global, pelabur mula mencari instrumen pelaburan selamat termasuk bond dan mata wang seperti yen. Namun sejauh mana pasaran ekuiti bakal berdepan sentimen negatif pelabur? Dan untuk berbincang lebih lanjut, kita bersama Ramsey Lee, Pengurus Portfolio Asian Islamic Investment Management Sdn Bhd. Dan izinkan saya bertutur dalam bahasa Inggeris. Sean, thank you so much for joining us on Bisnes AWANI.
Hi, good evening, and thank you very much for having me.
Sean, first of all, investors are looking at investment safe havens, including bonds and things like currency. The Australia benchmark 10-year yield has dropped 0.5 percentage point since December 31st, and the yen has also increased. So how is this risk-adverse sentiment affecting the ringgit and the Malaysian government bond?
Well, the risk aversion that we have been experiencing recently has actually whether directly or indirectly contributed positively towards the local bond market since the start of the year. Against expectations since the beginning of the taper tantrum back in 2013, global yields have continued to slide lower. And this has supported the demand for our local currency bonds, with our 10-year bonds still yielding close to 4%. Now, if you contrast this with our peer countries with similar credit ratings, and even with US Treasury yields, you still get good yield carry, which global bond investors are constantly hunting for. Take, for example, our 10-year MGS, which today closed at about 3.9%. That currently offers you a spread of more than 220 basis points to 10-year US Treasuries. Now, this coupled with, I would say, the relatively more stable ringgit lately, has made Malaysia quite an attractive destination for bond investors. I guess to put it into further context as well, there were constant talks lately, over the last couple of years or so, about the high foreign holdings of the local currency bond market being a key risk towards a sell-off. But we have not seen outflows of such large magnitude that would be deemed concerning. And in fact, if you look at it, we have actually recorded several consecutive months of inflows into the local bond market since September last year.
But at this point in time, do you think investors will continue to stay away from the stock market until at least the end of the first quarter? What's driving them away from the stock market?
Okay, will equity investors stay away for the first quarter? Okay, if we're talking about the first quarter, firstly, there is seasonality and also a lack of earnings catalyst across the sectors, which is why big caps are not performing well either. Secondly, fund flows play an important role as well. Foreign funds have been pulling money out of the country due to concerns surrounding the ringgit. Now, will they continue to stay away? I think there are pockets of investors buying and some are selling as well. So you get two-way flows, right? Some investors are selling for their performers and at the same time buying the laggards. Generally speaking, also, the first quarter tends to be slower as funds rebalance their portfolios and clean up for better position to better position themselves for the rest of the year.
Well, will this now be a good time for companies to issue corporate debt to expand in preparation for recovery, or is that too optimistic?
Well, if this is referring to the present time being the right time for corporates to be tapping the local bond market, then I guess the answer is both yes and a no. Yes, simply because certain corporates which have strong credit profiles and are rare issuers in the market will see good demand for their debt and be able to command tighter credit spreads as well. They will thus be able to lock in lower all-in cost of funding with the risk-free rate currently being low as well. On the other hand, though, with the current environment, may not be too favorable for certain corporates which are more frequent issuers, I would say, and already having highly leveraged balance sheets. And investors may demand higher credit spreads to be compensated for their additional risk being undertaken, especially in the current risk-off environment that we're in.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us on Bisnes AWANI. That's all the time we have for now. I'm sorry. Itu tadi Sean Ramsey Lee, Pengurus Portfolio Asian Islamic Investment Management Sdn Bhd, membincangkan unjuran pasaran bond untuk 2016.